Hello and a warm welcome back to the RonJon, your podcast that discusses all the latest MFL updates, transfers, developments, and so much more each week. As always, week on week, we're your hosts, Calvinator and Jimbo. One important note before we get straight into this episode: none of what we chatted about on this podcast is financial advice. Get that one out the way early doors. Do your own scouting or hire a director of metaverse football. We had a guest last week, and we got another guest this week. Calvinator, introduce our man.
Yes, another guest. Actually, we should say manager spotlight, because Jimbo, we made a little mistake last time.
Yes.
With the naming of meeting moguls and manager spotlight, but this will be another manager spotlight on someone who is ranked third in terms of the amount of players. He also has 12 clubs. You might know him in the app as Fortress Agency, but on Discord he's called RonJon. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm great, guys. Thanks for having me. This is a dream come true, so to speak.
Awesome.
Wow, we're dream redeemers. Is that what you call it? Not dream livers. Well, he's living his dream. He's a dream liver. We're the dream.
We're making
givers.
dreams come true.
We're making dreams come true.
That's right. I've been thinking about being on here since you guys started it. Really appreciate what you guys do, putting the time and effort in. Just looking forward to having a good time.
Us too, yeah. No, really great to have you. And also later on, there will be a little surprise. I can already, I think, plug that, right?
Yeah, you can plug it. Yeah. Well, what's Ron?
Yeah.
What's he brought? What's RonJon brought to the table?
So, well, I can plug it that there will be another little quiz. So stay tuned for that. And we'll, also have some surprises in there, I think.
Yes.
So stay tuned for that. Of course, first we're going to talk about our updates, then properly meet RonJon, talk about his NFL story, experiences, etc. And then there will be a quiz to top things off.
Yeah.
But, and also maybe we should talk about the summer episodes, because the next episode we're also going to record now.
Yes.
So what will the summer look like? Maybe Jimbo talk about
What will the summer look like for the RonJon? So it's our first summer, which is why it's slightly hair pulling, hair scratching. Not that Calv wants to pull out his glorious locks too much, otherwise the community will be in raptures. But over the July, Calv and I are having a little bit of a relax. We're taking a break. Calv is off for a couple of weeks. Are you going on holiday, Calv, or are you just sort of taking a break just in general?
Well, to the Netherlands to see all my family and friends, and then slowly making my way back to Poland through Germany with some mates. So it will be
lovely.
But for sure it will be a bit tougher for us to record and to be always up to date. But there will still be episodes each week.
Yes,
but maybe different forms.
Yes. Yeah. So for those of you who looked on socials, we've got a sort of a giveaway running, or I guess ran, to give away two sort of younger players, younger high-rated commons, and we're going to be doing, next week will be a Q&A based off those questions that we received from that post. So it won't be the full weekly updates, dev updates, all that sort of great piece. It will just be a Q&A piece, but there's some really interesting questions in there about tactics and things like that. So that's sort of what you've got to look forward to in the next couple of weeks. Weekly updates, Calva, I want to come to you first, because the biggest weekly update is the successes you've been having with Poland as their manager. First of all, congratulations for, it would have been two wins. Yeah, it would have been 2 wins since we last spoke.
Yes.
The round 16 and quarters.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, last time on the pod I was about to face Ronin's Denmark, and I was pretty scared of that. But luckily we won that game, and then yesterday, so when we're recording it Sunday and Saturday evening, we also beat B-seller Scotland as Poland. So there was a red card, but I always say, like, the red card is also given for a reason, right? Like maybe he put his aggression on super high, or I don't know. But yeah, I mean, that definitely helped us. And then in extra time, Zaborowski scored twice to seal the deal. So we'll be in the semis against Joe B.
Yeah, Turkey.
And the other semi
good result against Spain. That was a surprise.
Yeah, he beat Spain.
Yeah.
And then it's also Germany-Portugal, so Sturge against a strong Portuguese side.
Yes.
Later more, maybe we can do our predictions who's going to win that. But yeah, it was great week for me in that sense, that my managerial career with Poland is extended yet again. And it feels also good to be like in the green with those shares. You saw the table
What was it?
shared by
$1? Is it $1.91 or something like that for you now? Is
84,
it?
I think.
84.
Now. So like an 84%
2x
ROI profit there.
Yeah.
So that's very, very feels good. Like the pressure is off. I already delivered with that. So now let's win the whole thing. That's what I hope. What about your week? I think Wensum did very well. I saw.
Yes. So for those of you who've seen my socials, my second club, I basically just was full transparent and released all my tactics and formations for the whole club. So if you're playing my Espartale second club in Stone League 40, I believe it is, then go to my X Twitter account and just look at every single tweet under one of the threads, because I've released all the tactics information. So you can literally hard counter and use a cheat sheet for them. And I mean, I thought it might come back and bite me. Technically it has. We've not won a game yet, but we've drawn 3 and lost 1. But the games we've drawn, we've played teams who have low 70s on their overalls for Stone Division. So we've not been completely outclassed yet. So I'm kind of happy with how we performed. We won a cup game with a rotated squad. We won 5-2 and a striker scored all 5. But then the Wyverns, they've not lost a game yet in both league and cup out of the 5 games we've played. And I'm very happy with that. I think according to Bastise's little projection rankings, you must have all seen those graphics on socials with little sort of projected like best 11 and things like that. We were like 6th out of 12. So the Wyverns in terms of their best 11 aren't the best side in the division, yet we're now 4-0, which is brilliant. But we've got Big Wilbert's Coco MFC, I think it is, which is an stacked iron
infamous
side. If I could not lose to that, I think I'm on for a podium, or even I'm not going to call it. I'm not going to say anything now. I'm not going to say I'm on for a winner because we know what happens to the podcast. It reverses, and I'm going to come bottom. But I'm really excited. I'm actually super over the moon because I watch the games and I go into each one going, I think we're going to dominate and win each game. I think I've set them up perfectly.
So, great start for you.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
10 out of
awesome. 10. RonJon, what about you? 0.7 kickoff.
It's been a mixed bag. The new engine is definitely different. I haven't been able to put my finger on it yet. I don't do a lot of friendlies before the season starts. So I just kind of roll into the season and make adjustments on the fly based off what's going on. So far it's weird having 12 teams because, overall it's been a good start. Most of the teams are 1 to 2 wins, a draw, and a loss. But my top team, which tends to get most of my focus, is I believe we haven't won yet, and we've only scored 2 goals. Yeah, it's been a struggle. And we coming off of last season, I had high hopes for him because I was in with Calvo in gold division. With his gold team, and I finished 3rd. And I finished 3rd behind, I think, Ronan's squad. I'm trying to think who the other squad was, but they were both like elite, probably platinum teams. But I'm sitting 0-1-3 with 2 goals scored, 8 goals against. So that has been rough. We got
pretty rough, yeah.
Figure some stuff out.
You're just slow starters. You're just slow starters. That's what my second club's like every season. You start slow, get out the blocks, but once you get past sort of game 7, 8, hopefully snowball effect, and you start picking up wins and climbing.
You never know. And also now the leagues are bigger, right? So more teams, more matches. So there's more time to make up for it. But yeah, also with Gold League, you can be a bit unlucky with the draw, like that Rowan side where we were facing. It's just all Legos in gold. So then that is going to be mission impossible.
You're just praying for a draw.
Yeah,
every time you play.
But I feel like a bit the same about the engine. Yeah, it works out a bit less for me. But maybe later we can talk about that in our proper manager spotlight.
I might, before we move on to dev updates, I'm not going to jinx it. Well, I'm going to jinx it talking about it anyway. But I might win a player trophy for the first time. We're only 4 games in.
You already think that?
I know this is really ballsy from me. But
it's a
I'm
really
currently top scorer by 2. I know two's nothing. I'm currently holding the top 3 in assists. So I think I've got top 3 on lock. I've got 5, 4, 3. I'm feeling confident, fellas. You know what? I've jinxed. There we go. Season 0.7 is me getting my first player trophy. I'm calling it. The Wyverns are
Okay.
going to do it. There we
Let's
go.
let's
now.
see.
Calling
Let's
it.
see if this will
Let's
work
clip
out
this
for
in
you.
3 weeks' time when.
Yes, you're
I'm
gonna
not.
win a player trophy. Let's go. Okay, dev updates. Let's move there. So obviously we just mentioned the engine. The engine is new. About the previous season, the team has also published a comprehensive report on the engine behavior. So you can all read that. Just go to announcements and check that post. Also, 2 patches for the new engine have been released, addressing some bugs that were reported by the community. And those details are also available in some of the messages and also the patch notes, of course, with that new place where you can see what's going on with the engine. Then a really big thing is the 2D visualization. We saw some more like little clips of goals being scored. So the team has started development of the 2D visualization again, the feature. It has been resumed. And the team is now focusing on the infrastructure data encoding to manage large data volumes. So of course, to make that visualization for all those matches will require more data. And they also did a complete rework of the front end and the back end. They will do that to support the new visualization. About another big thing, player progression. So work is still ongoing on that, but also about a detailed explanation, which will be released soon, how player progression will work. So keep an eye out for that. The team has also made several tweaks to enhance the user experience and preparations to fully test player progression in the staging environment continue. And the final little thing is that marketplace fees temporarily have been changed. So there's now a flat 5% fee. That's especially nice for $1, like $2 players. So that is much better. Yes, I think later on, play progression, we're definitely going to talk about that. What about 2D? Your feelings when you saw that video?
Excited, hyped. Great to see that it's back in development again. Sort of getting back on that train of working on it. Obviously, we got, like you said, we saw the 2 little previews. If you'll all know what I'm talking about if you watched it, but that CDM was holding onto the ball for far too long, had his full back and his centre back open, and decided to just wallop it 40, 50 yards and lose possession. Is that what direct in possession tactic is referring to? But yeah, it's great to see that. And when they celebrate, they do the little huddle and celebrate.
Yeah, that's great.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I liked it. I'm hyped.
Yeah, it's really good. It's back on the agenda to see. Yeah, it's what we all want, right? To see actual players move around and better analyze things like that. RonJon, what would you say? You're more excited about 2D or player progression or the engine?
I would say both. Both. I do love whenever we see the 22 stuff. It just like that going back to the very beginning before anything was ever made. The ability to see your individual players like doing things and then trying to juxtapose that with their skills and all right, this guy's super fast. Does it show up on the pitch the way you think it's gonna? Like all of that is going to be a huge influx to the interesting nature of the game when it does go full go. So
no, definitely it's a way more feedback than just some stats, like to that visual. I mean, like most coaches work that way, right? Now you have the modern coach who work with data, but the original coach is just looking, saying, okay, things go wrong there. Exactly, the CDM holds on too long. He's not making any runs. Now you can actually make an informed choice about it.
You winger runs down the wing. You're like screaming at it, box it, put it in the box, stick it in. Turns back, just gives it to the fullback, and you're like, man, why are you doing that? It's like watching England over and over again. You can get even more,
or Netherlands
emotion.
yesterday. I was shouting so much, like, come on, higher pace, make runs. They're also static. Like you cannot break that Turkey defense if you just keep standing like that.
90th
so you have
minute,
to make some runs.
90th minute, you need a goal. Your centre back gets it, just shoots from 45 yards. Mate, why are you doing that? Just why are you doing that?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no, I was just going to say I was thinking about you guys all day because I got a chance to watch both those games.
Oh,
and,
dear.
just
Bless your heart.
oh man, well, you got the result, so I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't pretty, but at the end,
I just before recording, I talked to Jimbo about it. Like I'm very unhappy about the way, and people are like, "Aren't you happy?" I'm like, "No, we played terribly." Like,
We got the
why
two
can I
most
be happy about it?
undeserved teams that one of them's going to get to the final. Is like the most boring, most boring clubs, and probably
Yeah.
playing arguably the. I don't know. To me, the Dutch look better than England, but I think you got quite a lot up front. But Bellingham with his
We'll
big
see.
ball sack could come
Wednesday
along.
will be fun to see who wins. Okay, back to Metaverse football. So Diamond League obviously has started too. 4 games have been played.
Has Dio figured it out?
And
Has Dio figured it out?
Dio has had an amazing start. 4 wins in 4 games, 12 points, and he's already 4 points ahead of Meta Mercenaries, who are second with 8 points. And then Club Atletico Parque Ibirapuera 7. Ballers, BFC Barcelona, not the best start. 2 losses, 2 wins. And Orche is bottom with 1 point out of 4. But yeah, Dio had a great start. Hopefully, we had a season where he had the same, and now hopefully he can pull it off.
Let's not
I
comment
really hope.
because you're right.
We jinxed it last time,
a
I
lot
think.
each season,
Yeah.
and we
Yes.
say something and it turns around. So let's just leave it at that. Maybe just well done.
So
for
we're not
games.
gonna talk about it.
No.
We're gonna not jinx Dio here. We're
I thought
just
the
gonna
opening
say-
game was pretty good between Mercenaries and Londinium. Ended up being 5-4 to Meta Mercenaries. That's what we talk about, an opening game of the season, beating one of your
Yes,
rivals
yeah.
5-4. I think Dirk did get a goal in there as well.
Dirk did get a goal in that one,
Yeah.
So,
His only contribution of the week.
but I like that. Maybe we should just talk about like that the team. What was it with Harry Potter, Voldemort? Like he who shall not be named, team who shall not be named.
Yeah,
that is doing well.
Yeah.
And then about MFL Euro 2024. So we have one semifinal. What we just said. Germany versus Portugal and Turkey versus my team Poland. So I'm a bit biased in this situation, but what do you guys think? Who's going to win the semis and then the final predictions?
Go on, RonJon, let you fire away first.
Well, I haven't been paying a ton of attention to it, honestly. I mean, I look at the results, who won. As far as what's going on in the games, though, I don't. My guess would be Germany. I'm Poland for Poland. Calvo. That was one of the teams I bought a bunch of shares in.
Ooh.
So yeah. So that's who my heart wants to win: Germany and Poland.
I think maybe I agree. I think I want a Germany-Poland final. I want to see Sturge take Germany to the final. And I think they are, you looked at the before tournament, the favourite for the MFL Euros. So if they get there, that'd be great. And obviously Calva, unless someone is a Portuguese, unless someone's got shares in Portugal, Turkey, or Germany, I think we can quite safely say that the Wendirk community and the MFL community is fully rooting you to get to the final and win this. I know that
would
now
be amazing.
as the failure of an England manager, which is actually quite a common occurrence if you look back in history. So I'm not an odd one out. I'm fully supporting you, my man. I believe. Maybe I'll leave it there. We know what this podcast does to momentum and does to winning streaks.
More jinxing.
But yeah, we won't say any more. But a Germany-Poland final would be a delight. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, I think obviously, I can be this like manager, like positioning myself as the underdog. But I think clearly Germany have the best team, and I think they've literally won all their games.
They have
all 3 group games. Of course, all the knockouts, and also very like in a kind of
convincing
I would
fashion.
say convinced. Yeah, exactly. Like proper wins, all within 90 minutes. All those group games. So
Yeah.
I think they are the favorites to win it. And if we as an underdog can do a little upset in the final, like Spain in the quarterfinal with like a header in extra time, that would be amazing. So I'll try my best to do a little trick surprise, and
Good luck, mate. No pressure.
let's see.
Well, just keep on doing what you're doing. I mean, it's been working.
It's been
far,
working,
so-
yeah, exactly.
Right.
It ain't
Well, actually, I
broken, don't
did
fix it.
do some changes to play Ronin. So that seemed to work, and we'll stick with it. So let's see. Marketplace time. We did see a couple of new managers, not as much as before with drops in new seasons. But Nathan, Ogburn, Gnagora, Shredder, Jeff, Kotsky, Stark, Rinuccio, and Matsuyama. They all joined this week. I saw their names for the first time in the Salesbot. And I also have a new user of the week, Manny, who bought a rare and a lot of uncommons. So if you do that in your first, let's say, week or 2 weeks of MFL, that's great to go straight for some rare players. Then active managers, so bulk buying is MFC, Reggiana, Vanity 9, Clem, Mr. Tio21, Nostra, J. Mendes. They're all pretty new users who joined in the past months and they've been quite busy. Nice to see that. Rare players, GB Australia, Spice Weasel, Something Balling, Sam100 had like a rare splash with 400 USD for an 84 rated player. And I saw Yuri, he bought 4 rares. Also pretty new manager buying 4 rares in a row. That's great. Legendary players, Frajogo got another one. 85 overall for 475. Niako 86 overall. And Ballers, they had a nice quality injection with Claude Minard, who played very well for France actually in the tournament.
Yep.
89 rated, and they paid 971 for him, but it's not the splash, because Jimbo will say who is.
Yes.
Clubs, quite some Ice and Stone. I'm not going to mention them all. Okay, yeah, sure. Got another Iron Team in Cagliari. And Lev, he had the biggest club purchase, who bought Zurich Bronze. And now I'll hand it over to you, Jimbo, for the real splash of this week.
Thank you. But before we get into the splash, we've got the trade of the week. Obviously, we like to monitor trades as well. And if you would remember on the stream on the, I can't remember the actual date, a couple of Thursdays ago, we had the first pack drop of season 0.7 and Trust the Process. Jonathan got a 91 rated legendary and he did a little trade with Big Will. Big Will, he's not only been in one of the things this week, trade of the week, and also the next one as well. Spoiler alert there. But 91 rated Carl Goodwin is now in the hands of Big Wilbert. Going the other direction, we've got 7 rares, pretty high rated, 82, 82s, 80s, and then a Stone Club as well. So we seem to have got a pretty big trade gone on there. Initial thoughts on that? What's a big trade? Do you think anyone sort of benefited more on one side than the other?
Depends a bit on the age. Well, we know he likes also, there's more like talented players.
Under 21, Jonathan.
Under 21.
Processes age bracket.
But yeah, if it's like 91 rated, I mean, we've seen with just Dapper or just money, those being sold for like 1,500.
Yeah, I was going to say 1,500
2K.
odd, yeah.
So it feels, my initial reaction is that Big Wilbert got the better deal, side of the deal here.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't know about those 82. Maybe they're very young guys, so then it makes more sense. But we don't know. But it's nice to see him make such a big trade and go for that quality to put in his diamond team, his diamond squad.
There could be something else there that.
So it's a good trade for him, definitely.
It could be maybe like the contract or something is for Carl Goodwin. Maybe his with Let's Go Tango when he's got like to say like a 10%, and that's going to be for that season. So Trust the Process could get like a quite healthy chunk of MFL come in. It could be, it could be something along those lines as well. But
we don't know.
I tend to agree with you there, yeah. And then to the big one, Splash of the Week. I'm really getting ropey with that one these days. But Splash of the Week. Big Wilbert's in with Trade of the Week and Splash of the Week. This man is really hitting the upgrades. So 91 rated for the trade. For the Splash, 90 rated right mid striker. I'd practiced this name before coming on, and I've just looked at the name. It's suddenly just evaporated from my mind. Surname, Keshavars. I think that's pretty decent.
That's pretty good.
A hard Keshavars. 90 overall, right mid striker for $1 shy of 1,000, 999 USD. Bought from Soka FC 25. Big purchase, right mid striker, 90 rated. From Iran, age 25, so a bit on the, I won't say old, the upper echelons, maybe the middle ground there. But I think, Calver, going back to your bit about Menard and how he was 971, I think technically if I was reading the old Ballers DAO chat enough, that was using the funds from the Ballers DAO because that's the most they have. And then I think I saw B Seller said to top it up to 1,000 after fees. So it could be that actually that might have been the splash of the week. But the definitive,
not in sales bot.
Exactly, the definitive splash of the week. Congratulations, Big Wilb. Let's hope these 91 rated players you acquired over the last week, and hopefully you manage to sign them in time to your club. If not, you've got the transfer window coming up soon. Hopefully we see the ranks of Tango go up.
It would be very good for them to have those 2 extra guys. I think they can really challenge the top 3 clubs. He can challenge top 3 clubs with those two guys. It's really getting competitive in Diamond. Amazing to see. I forgot actually, RonJon, my question. Like, do you watch Diamond League? We try to build, like, let's say, fan bases and some kind of lore around Diamond. Do you sometimes check out what's going on there, or not really?
I do. I don't watch every single match, but I do check in. Obviously, I'm in the Ballers DAO, so a lot of those guys are talking about what's going on. So I stay abreast of a lot of the information just from hearing what's going on in chat.
Okay.
But yeah, I do like to check on it to see what the competition level is, just to see what we're going to be looking at once we start promotion relegation, what type of team you might one day have to field in order to compete up there. So yeah, I like to kind of keep that information.
So you're also rooting for BFC Barcelona then, or you have other?
Yeah. I don't have any players on any of the teams right now. I used to, and then when I purchased my gold club, I had to have some guys up my gold club, so I pulled a couple guys off, and I haven't actually gotten any guys until the Euro drop. I actually pulled an 87 rated striker from Albania, so he might make his way onto one of the BFC teams in the future, or he might. If I keep losing in gold, I might have to put him on my gold club. So, so we'll see what happens.
Well, we have this transfer window now, yeah. So maybe he has to come to the rescue.
Right, yeah.
There, to get some points for you there. Speaking about legends and legendary players, is of course Dirk, who started his 0.7 season 2. We already mentioned he scored 1 goal in this week against Londinium FC in that crazy 5-4 win of Meta Mercenaries. He also played in the quarterfinal, or was it around 16, Netherlands-Turkey?
Around 16.
Yeah, around 16, Netherlands-Turkey. So Turkey, Joe B, beating Dios, Netherlands 5-2. Dirk was actually playing quite well based on his rate, 7.9. But they lost. And we could say he had some pretty good rating, 7.72. So... What do you think? Good start for him.
Well, his season 0.5 rating was 7.7. His season 0.6 rating was 7.6. And in both those seasons, he only got 1 goal. And so far, season 0.7, we're 4 games in, he's already got a goal. And there's more, so hopefully the fella can finally get more than 1 goal in a whole season. That's our game. That's our aim, which you'd think for a 92 rated player across, say, about 20 games shouldn't be that difficult.
But I remember we overestimated his scoring in Sturgis quiz when he asked how many goals did he score so far.
We were like,
and we were like
15 or so.
Yeah, it was like 4.
Yeah,
huge overestimation there. But
well, I think this new engine actually will probably benefit him because it does feel like more non-strikers are taking shots now, so maybe this will be his come out season.
We'll see. It's the only thing he's done so far decisively. It's just 1 goal, but we'll have to see.
Jimbo, chocolate bar. Well, we had an exciting chocolate bar last time, so maybe you have to remind our users about that.
Yes. So for those last week who haven't listened to the episode with Tingus Pingus, one of my favourite names in the community, Tingus Pingus. He brought in a new third place chocolate bar, which was dubbed the blood bar or the hematogid, and it's basically sort of chocolate with cow blood put together. And then we've got a new third place. So, RonJon, you know the drill, but I'm going to repeat repeat the instructions, repeat how it goes anyway. So our chocolate bar top 3, ever revolving top 3 list. I'm going to list you off the top 3 chocolate bars, starting with third, we've got the Blood Bar. Second, we've got the Twix Peanut. And at top place, we've got the 100-gram bar. I'm sure you know the drill. You get to pick one of those chocolate bars, get it out of the list, and replace it with one of your own. So what's it going to be?
I believe I'm going to have to replace the cow's blood bar.
Only took a week. Didn't even made it a week.
I mean, maybe if you would have led with something different other than cow's blood, I might have left it alone. But that's just, when you said cow's blood, maybe it tastes amazing. I don't know. Be something I have to try someday, but not today. So I guess I'll throw in. Yeah. It's got to go. I guess I'll throw in a favorite of mine when I was a kid. I don't eat a ton of chocolate stuff as much now that I'm older, but I'm going to go with the Kit Kat.
Ooh, Kit Kat.
Good standard,
OG Kit Kat.
Always good. You can never go wrong with a Kit Kat. So
I love that. And I've actually got a question about Kit Kat. So I'll ask you first, RonJon. I'll come to you, Calvinator. In the UK, Kit Kat now is, or it hasn't for as long as quite a few years, maybe it's less than that. It used to be in like a foil wrapper, and then it had a bit of wrap around it as well for the fingered Kit Kat, even for the 4 and
Yes.
the 2. That's now been removed. It's just one casing for all of it. Is in America, RonJon, do you still have the foil unwrapping like a present, or is that also gone in America as well?
It's been the plastic wrap for a while now. Yeah, maybe some old ones in a store that hasn't sold it in like 10 years is still sitting there, But yeah, it's all plastic.
Oh, I was hoping that wasn't going to be the answer. Calvin, is it the same in Poland?
Yeah. But also, I think growing up in the Netherlands, it was also just plastic.
There was something about
then
unwrapping it with the foil and the noise. And
the good thing was always that you could break it from the without opening it already.
Yeah,
that was everyone's doing. I remember breaking that Kit Kat straight away, and then you open it and you can take out one.
Yeah,
I think that's the experience. What I remember.
You used to get the foil or aluminum, as they say across the pond there, as aluminum. I think even though tinfoil and aluminum, I'm pretty sure are different things because it's tin. But anyway,
okay.
But you just get
some nostalgia.
You get the wrapper, and because you could just screw it up and just throw it at someone. There you go. There's my childhood. Just throwing wrapping paper.
Okay.
Wrapping
After
paper,
you had fun eating it, you could have a little fun with it.
Well, now with the plastic wrapper, you just sort of crunch it up, and then it just expands again because it's not got the right characteristics. Cool, we're getting really deep stuff here now. So, to sum up, we've got a new number 3. We've actually gone for a full-on chocolate bar now. Not it's actually a wafer as well, isn't it? Not a blood bar.
Yep.
We've gone for
blood bars out.
A Kit Kat. We're not going to include it. Is there any preferences on the flavour of Kit Kat or just the OG?
It's got to be the OG.
The OG. The 2-fingered or the 4-fingered?
The 4. The 2 is that's an appetizer that
you don't do those in America, right? You got to just it's minimum 4. You do the 4 and the 8, right? And the 12.
That's a Halloween thing, When you walk up and you get the two sticks at the house instead of the 4, then you got to go to the neighborhood that has the 4 or the king size, which is a jumbo big cat.
Spot on. So there we go.
A lot of Kit Kat.
New top 3. Well, third, sorry.
All right. So let's start with the proper manager spotlight. We already heard a lot from you, RonJon. So now we'll dive a bit more in your, listen to your story, your experiences, and also maybe some discussions about things that are happening right now in MFL. So what's your MFL story? How did you find out actually about the project?
I'm like a lot of your other guests. I was into the Top Shot. I had a buddy at work show me what Top Shot was, and so it kind of was, a unique thing. I'd never heard about NFTs before that. That was my first, foray into the space. So I got into that pretty heavy for it was probably like a year and a half, I think, before MFL rolled around. So I was there for the big boom and then the subsequent drop, and so at that point I was like, this NFT is, it's fun. I could find something that was more engaging
to do with
that
them.
I would. Yeah, exactly. So other than just watch them and hope that they went up in price, and not financial advice. But and then so actually I got hooked up with the guys over at Dimension X, and I was in their Discord talking when they were developing their game, which was amazing. That was like also living out a dream of, I'm not in the gaming space at all, so being able to have input into something was really cool. Then I got in the Ballers Discord for a little while. I was in their space when they were doing their game and stuff. And then I got the email for MFL.
The email,
yes, the
infamous
famous
email that I think
yeah,
for like feels like a third or half the community just one email.
yeah, and it was just, I mean, I opened it up. By then, I think I'd been through about 4 or 5 other NFTs that hadn't gone anywhere. You bought them, and then it was like, all right, maybe someday, never happening. and so I was not skeptical, but I was like, all right, I like the idea. I've always enjoyed sports games with like a management simulation aspect to them. And I did enjoy the idea of NFTs, being able to trade them with other people that were interested in what you were doing. So marrying that idea together between NFTs and a sports management game was, I mean, right there, without even knowing what the team was about or what their plan was, I was in. And then I actually read the white pages, and that was
The Bible.
all I needed. That was it. So this is advice to anybody listening. If you have not read the white pages, go read the white pages. It's quite an exhaustive idea of what the team wants this thing to be. And even if they hit on half of what their plan is, it's still going to be an amazing product. And I don't even think we're close to halfway at this point. And so after I read the white pages, I was in. I was like, all right, let's go. Unfortunately, I wasn't financially totally in, because it was it's a big ask to plop down a couple $500,000-$600,000 for something that might not go anywhere. And so those first couple drops were tentatively, I picked up some packs, and I did actually have a legendary pack I picked up on the second drop, I think. It was one of the restock packs, like 15 minutes after the drop.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I was clicking around to the site, and I was like, one, there was none. Like I needed it. And so I clicked on it, and I was actually able to get it. So yeah, that's where the whole thing started for me.
Wow. So you have experience with like loads of NFT projects after Top Shot, and then you ended up kind of through all those other things at MFL, and that white paper then really convinced you compared to those other projects a bit more. Like you had some experience with that.
Yeah. It was a more comprehensive list of what their ideas were, what they wanted to do. And I mean, as far as me personally, like I said, that's my gaming background. I've always gravitated toward this kind of game. So being able to incorporate that with the marketplace, and then I think the other big part about it is thinking about what type of community that this could become. When a lot of those other games you're playing against yourself or the computer, there's not like active managers that are trying just as hard as you to win. So that was also kind of an exciting idea, that, like I'm sitting here, me and Calvinator were going at it last season in gold, once promotion relegation, player progression, come into the mix, that could be like a, multi-year, competition between us. So.
Yeah. So it's not just collecting like Top Shot, right? Too much collecting, and it's also not. It's a real multiplayer. Like Tingus Pingus last week, he also talked about Fujium, that he played the whole season against AI teams. So he was the only real manager in that whole league. So yeah, that's also less fun in that. So it definitely makes the project much better. Yeah, those elements. What about, so before, like we had some chat on Discord, you said you're not a big football or into the S word. I'm not gonna say it.
Yes.
What is like your background with that, with football?
Well, being from the States and growing up where I grew up, I didn't have any access to, soccer. Sorry, Jimbo. I know, I
Strike
know,
one.
but I did hear something real interesting about that last night. I'll leave that for a later discussion. But yeah, so I didn't have any. There was no professional teams near me. I didn't have any access to like watching anything. We'd see the World Cup every 4 years, and that was it. For my experience of viewing stuff. So as of late, I've actually I think they put the Premier League on one of the streaming platforms, so I've been getting into that. I now live in an area that has an MLS team pretty close, so we've been kind of following them. But yeah, as far as the question was, I don't really know a ton about in real life stats. So, like what would constitute an upset, what is a good, stat line at the end of a game, should you have won, should you have lost, should have been a draw, that kind of stuff. You know, I don't really know a ton about.
So you're learning as you go. Like, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Listening to the dev team talk about, they're trying to replicate the stats that like the Premier League might have. That's kind of like their baseline, what they're working off of. So I think, yeah, eventually we'll get there. I'm starting to see, patterns and stuff like that throughout the whole process of playing. But with every engine update, that changes a little bit. So, yeah, it's been a learning process, and but I'm here for it. I'm enjoying it, so it's a good time.
So what about your MFL management style and how do you approach the game? So you said with new engines you're not playing so many friendlies. Do you do different, like, do you do some tactics testing sometimes, or how do you
Um,
approach it, let's say?
yeah, my tactics testing. I basically said I wasn't gonna do any major friendly stuff before we finally get like the majority of the engine finalized. Obviously, they're going to be fine tuning it all the time, but once we have the bulk of it set in place, I think I'll end up doing more friendlies there. As far as strategy for the game with 12 teams, I kind of just went through my roster and I picked a formation for every team basically. And then I went through and based off of which tier they were in, I put my better players on the better teams, lesser players on the lesser teams, for the lesser tiers. And then I just kind of run with that formation. I have decent subs for everybody, and so I try to just keep everybody as fit as possible. That's kind of the strategy that I have right now. And I think I've been doing that for 4 seasons now. And it's working pretty good. I'm starting to see some patterns against this formation against that formation that I think will help. I do think even though they're changing the engine all the time, we will have certain things that make it through each of the engine changes to the final product. So I am like kind of documenting, logging that stuff in, and hopefully have some of that extra knowledge, once we go live.
And actually, I was also curious about your, like, the amount of players. So you have 721 players right now. So that's like a lot. Is there any thought behind that? Like, you want to get as many as possible, and then they also generate MFL for you, like some kind of maxing out on MFL, or you just
Yeah.
don't want to sell anyone, or what is like your thoughts behind that?
Order.
Okay.
Yeah. So that kind of happened on its own. I basically once the project, so we had the Dr. Matchbot come in, and
Kevin.
Kevin's a man.
Yes.
And so once we saw that, and then we could actually use our stuff, that kind of solidified that, okay, this is going somewhere. And then when we came out with our first version of the game, season 0.1, after that I was completely in. I was like, all right, we've got something here, this is going places. And then so every drop after that, I think I max packed, not high end, because you can barely get those even if you're lucky.
Yeah.
But I was buying like uncommon, like that stretch, the mega drop, I think I had 10 uncommon packs every single drop.
Wow.
Wow.
So that's where the bulk of my agency came from.
Because
But there were
you
only
own the
20.
most uncommons as an
Yeah,
agent, yeah, which I thought was
yeah,
mad, yeah.
and that's
Mhm.
why, because I was buying 10 uncommon packs every drop, um, which you can't even do anymore. So I'm glad I did it at the time. I didn't know if that was going to matter or not, when I was doing it. But with the way the marketplace has gone and the way they've restricted pack drops now, which I'm completely in favor of. I love that they try to spread out the wealth to everybody in the project. Um, so but yeah, I basically, and well, if you read through the white papers, they would like to have a life after your playing career for the NFTs. So, with that part of thought process in mind, having all these players that might eventually turn to maybe coaches or trainers or agents or whatever they cook up, I think could be a benefit, after their playing career. So that's why I hold a lot of my guys.
Yeah. Now I feel I also get a lot of like messages of people who want to buy my guys, and one, it's too hard to sell because I'm like emotionally attached to all of them, and then I also think they're also just generating MFL, right? So you're selling an asset that generates MFL for you. So I also feel like not financial advice, but that it's maybe smarter to hold on to
Well
them.
saved, well saved.
But yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's just
Well,
nice to have that.
yeah, having that the passive MFL points come in, from your teams. And I don't know what my future is going to be as far as long term. Do I, scale down? Do I go ahead and buy more clubs? So, I don't want to sell everything and then, not have players to put on a club that I might pick up in a month or 2 or 3.
Fair enough. No, I think I agree with all of that. So obviously, we already mentioned player progression in the dev updates, and I said maybe we should talk about it a bit more. So obviously, it's getting closer and closer. What are you guys, also Jimbo, like? What are you feeling about that right now? What do you expect? Will it change the game a lot when it kicks in?
So going back to the white pages again, ever since I read about player progression, I was like, yeah, let's do this. It's going to be, I hope it is like as much part of the game as the actual playing of the game is, that people can get into it. Maybe eventually we might just have players that progress, people, maybe they're trainers or whatever, other than agents and owners, maybe we have, progression managers or something. So the idea of progression is really exciting. I don't think it's going to have a big impact initially, other than you may play players a certain way because you're trying to maximize their potential, but without knowing how that process is going to work, you don't know how that part's going to affect it. Is training or progression going to be a ranged thing, like where you could get in between minimum and maximum, and this time out on the pitch or that time in the training schedule you got 75% of what you could have got, but it's just a random roll, you don't know. Or is it like, all right, if you do X, Y, Z, you're going to get 100% every single time, so I think there's a lot unknown that we have right now. So it's kind of hard to project what that's going to be. But once you get into season 2 and beyond, it's really exciting because depending on how fast these players are going to promote or progress. You could have a player that last season you faced him and he was a 74, and then this season he's a 78, or something like that, and he dominates you, where you dominated him last year. So, like, once we get like everybody locked into a tier and you're playing against the same team season after season, that's really a fun thing to think about.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm really excited by player progression, but I think like you highlighted towards the end there, RonJon, there's still a lot of questions that not that need to be answered, that we want to try and get some answers from, like how directly can we influence that player progression? Maybe it's, can someone on the bench still get good progression if they get minimal minutes, but they're in a really competitive league? How much does that influence things? Does the overall change at the end of every season? Can it change mid-season? And there's some small things to think about, but I'm really looking forward to it because it's a major milestone that needs to be delivered before we can get to that first season. So once we go past that hurdle, we'll call it, then we know we're ever closer to that inevitable season 1, which a few chats in Discord this week, I think it was Matt or Lucas throwing around, or Yaks, no, I think it was Yaks even, saying before the end of the year. So
yeah,
that's
I saw
Sony.
that.
we all gave the little eyeball emoji, like, oh, hello, a bit of a Yaks bomb there. And end of the year is only 5 months away. So hurry up. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Keep doing
Definitely
what
24, he said, yeah. So it will be, that's
So
like 5 months.
have you guys made purchases with that in mind? I know you kind of said.
Well,
maybe.
definitely, if there's young players and with those earlier drops, and then usually what happened was that people were selling, like, try to flip it for like $1 or $2. Then I bought so many of those young guys or great talents, and one of my filters on the marketplace is always like 2021. I prefer to buy also young guys. So it's always been in my mind, and you just prefer to have a younger player than older players.
Yeah, I'm similar. If the price is right for a younger player, I'll purchase them. But I think on the flip side to that, I've been more reluctant to who I'm willing to sell, because I might say, right, anyone's above, say, 23, 24, I'm pretty inclined to sell if I need to shift them, want to shift them, I get the right price. But if, going back to a couple of minutes ago when we were saying, Calvi, saying about players that you hold on to dear because they're, you cradle them like a baby because you've had them since day one. In my very first pack, I got a 74 rated 16-year-old. So that bloke is never leaving my club, regardless of the offers that come in, just because he's one of the first players I got. He's 16 years old and he's 74 rated. So he's, and his name's Robbo. Reynaldo Romo. It's just the double R. He's got 80 pace, 87 dribbling.
Right.
The bloke is made for
progression,
world-class progression. Yeah. So I think on the flip side of your question, I'm more reluctant and think about who I'm willing to sell if I need to shift. Rather, I think I've got a nice stable amount of young players that I'm happy with progression, because I've only got 2 clubs, so I've got I have a very tight fit agency where I like to control my players a lot. But if I don't want to just have to buy because I need to. I'd rather say contract them in as well.
Gotcha. And now, but on the other side of progression, all right. So everybody is kind of staying away from old guys. In the white pages, they do talk about having older players on your team, and that will help the progression of your younger players. So, do you factor that in to your moves?
Quick answer: no, I haven't really thought about that. Second answer, I probably should.
Same, yeah. Well, it will be interesting. I think in the chat this week was also about this little chemistry or national chemistry. I'm personally way more in favor of a team chemistry, that if players stay 3 seasons, 4 seasons in the same club, that will contribute more to chemistry than just, this dude is from the same country, so we're going to play well together. I think it's way more. These players play together for 4 seasons, so they get a chemistry bonus. So yeah, it will be really cool that all of those things will factor in also for player progression. And it will also change the whole contract market. I'm now very lazy, just auto accept 4%, just get all those guys away. But then later, all those younger 18, 19, 20, you have to be really careful who's going to get them. Are they going to be benched the whole season? Some people sign 25 guys. So it will add so many more variables to things. It will be very interesting.
And I think they said that the active manager will be picking and choosing how they train, right?
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
who manages the team, the contract?
Yeah, and I think the point I tried to get across earlier before I fumbled the bag completely. None of you would have listened to that because I would have removed it. But what I was trying to get at was that we have progression or potential as a number. But it's up to the manager to get them there. You might find out some managers are really naff at progressing players because they've made the wrong choices. Your choices will have an influence on how that player hits their potential. They won't just hit it from playing it. You've actually got to have an influence in that. And I think maybe I might be in a slightly better boat because I've got less players to look after and look for. I do not envy any of you who have more than 5 clubs. No way. I do not envy it at all, because there's a lot to look at there. So if you've got 12 clubs in your make think or big wheel or duff with a gazillion, and you can progress every player super phenomenally, then hats off to you. Mad respect. I think you've got a big challenge on your hands, fellas. It'll be exciting. But you better have annual leave left. Or you don't even have annual leave in America, do you? You can't just take off paid days.
Well, I have some. Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe you need to get more. Maybe you need to get more.
Maybe I have to just schedule one before every start of every season.
There you go. Dedicated day. Dedicated MFL day. Swap the contracts.
Right.
Get your suit on. Get it all done. Bosh.
It can really almost become a whole full-time job, yeah, if you manage so many teams and contracts and you really want to maximize all players' potential.
Yeah.
But yeah, for example, now with my only legendary player, which I won in this crazy lucky wheel, he's now on the bench for Berlin in Diamond. And he's 17. So is he just wasting his talent then with player progression? Should I move him?
Yeah, that one's going to be real interesting. Having a young player on the bench, getting some minutes, like Jimbo was saying, but he's around very talented player in training versus on field, getting actual game time in. I'm interested to see which way that works out.
Yeah. Yes. Well, you have to. I feel like in the coming weeks, the announcement is going to come. I know, Jimbo. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree.
There is some announcement going to come soon. So
yeah, we'll have to have an announcement before it gets released, sort of explaining how it all works, I guess. So
yeah, I feel it's going to be soonish, but we don't know exactly. Okay, let's move to another topic. Well, maybe let's do Tingis' question. Tingis Pingus. We had quite a funny one, I would say. So he said, do you ever pick a player on the marketplace based on how he looks? So RonJon, did you ever purely based on looks about a guy?
I usually don't. I have, I think, once or twice. There's a hairstyle it's bald with a mullet. I don't know if you've seen that. So I think I picked up one or two of those cheap guys just because to pull that off, that's a solid look. So I had to have,
especially put off when your age is 16 as well.
Right? Yeah. So, but normally no, I only pay attention to stats, all about the numbers.
Same.
Yeah, same. I think I don't think I ever have. I'm trying to think. Maybe I chucked $1 on someone who looked nice, but chances are, if it was $1 and they looked nice, they're probably 44 rated. And do I have any time for a 44 rated player in my agency? Probably not. No.
No.
I mean, it's a nice bonus, right?
Yeah.
It's like a crazy hair or purple or actually. When I was watching the Germany game with Andri.
My dad. I was like, the hair on him, yeah.
Yeah, he had like purple hair now. So like, MFL is very right with their purple hair guys. They exist. Or Andri is just playing MFL and want to look like an MFL player or something.
But big respect to those.
It was funny.
Yeah, big respect to those who do purchase players or just can and want to with looks, with the goalkeeper kits, hairstyles, etc. You know who you are, and we love you.
Yep.
Yeah, all mohawk, all
the
all mullet guys,
the Mexican keeper kits, that sort of, or the the American. There's the fancy goalkeeper kits, Edgar Davids, glasses, mohawks, all of it.
I think there's a man bun team out there somewhere.
Yeah, that's Duff's. I think Duff's man bun side. Yeah. No, not man bun. Sorry, mohawks. Sorry, I got them. So this is what I mean. There's mohawks, too many of them. This is what I mean. There's too many.
Didn't Brandon have a man bun?
I think so because I know he's got cloth, but I don't think he's a man. He's a man bun. Yeah. But I'm not sure he's on man bun.
Let us know in general, guys, if you're listening.
Yes.
Who has which team exactly? RonJon, do you have a question for our next guest? By the way, did you think of something?
Yeah, I did. I thought of, if you had the choice, would you rather pull a player from a pack that was like a 10 plus overall better than your best player, but it does not fit your formation, so you either need to sell them or completely change your formation, or would you rather pull a solid +3 upgrade, but it fits your formation?
I want to answer that. Shall we answer it, Jimbo?
We have to answer that next episode.
It's for the next guest, though. It's for the next guest. But
Well, you can answer it after the next guest.
Yeah.
You can.
I think I already have my answer ready, but we can.
Give me plenty,
We'll do
of,
it with the
plenty of
guest.
time to think about it. That's what I'm saying. It's a good question.
Definitely,
That's right.
definitely.
I love a would you rather. I love a would you rather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah,
Okay,
that's the
yeah.
question.
Good.
hard.
Thanks. Great question. I got so into it. I already want to answer it. So, well, let's say before we start with your quiz, let's do one tiny question. Just how do you see the game develop in the coming year? Let's say. What?
I
We just
do
talked about it, right? Just season one, maybe.
player progression, promotion relegations, right on the cusp of that. Whether that's 1 or 2 seasons away before the end of the year. I would like to see the all 22 out there. I would, with the caveat of I would rather have the engine really dialed in before we see the all 22, because it feels like that would just raise more questions that we already have. And so but yeah, all 22 would be something I'd really like to see. And then I think having ice sell out and opening up the next tier would be a really good thing.
Dust.
Maybe halfway through, or maybe a third tier. Who knows?
Wow, many tiers.
Yeah.
Well, ice is like 1,500 clubs, right? So that's like a massive tier to sell out. And any name suggestions for below ice?
Grass. Moss.
Mossy.
Grass.
Moss.
Dust. I think you got to go reverse. You got to go. What's the lowest? What's the lowest it
Sand.
could be, and
How
then
about
go up
sand?
from there. But then again, we don't want to go the lowest, and then go up, because we don't want to cap. We want to leave room for imagination. And I think after maybe 1 or 2 expansions, we might struggle a bit with the creativity, because we might have already hit the limit. Not on divisions, but just in terms of names. Struggling about names.
Right.
Yeah. Well, maybe you have to start a whole new pyramid, like the semi-pro. I think with Matt, we've talked about it before. So if the pro, semi-pro, and then amateur. So maybe, but it can be another thing.
If you guys, I did actually throw a suggestion in the idea about that. How many tiers down can we go before people maybe get, all right, well, 10 tiers, that's a lot to try to move up. What do we do whenever that tier comes? And, what do we do then? So.
Yeah. No, there's definitely, Matt also really wants a free-to-play. So it could be nice between the free-to-play and the professional pyramid. We have some kind of in-between league with some NFTs, some non-NFT players. That's what I would like to see. But so we can convince all our, let's say, NFT phobic friends to join in, and then
the training wheels.
Grass, dirt, dust. There you go.
The dust.
That's 3 easy ones. But I wouldn't want to be the dirt, though. I wouldn't want to be dirt. I'd rather be dust.
No.
Or
Dusty.
grass. I wouldn't want to be dirt.
And then we do a podcast about it called When Dirt.
When dirt.
Yeah. Okay, let's not go there. So, RonJon, you have a quiz for us. Really exciting. What can you tell us about it? Setup. Quiz.
Okay, so in honor of ICE, having their first official season, and with the transfer window being mid-season, I came up with this little quiz. It's about 20 questions, and you each are going to represent a ICE division. Jimbo, you're going to be 4.
Yeah.
So if you guys are in the
Ice
4th
4.
ICE division, shoot me a DM that you listened, and then Calvinator, you're going to be representing the 9th ICE division. Okay, so the prizes are going to be, I have 2 60 level overall goalkeepers, and then I have a kickoff pack. So
Nice.
you're both going to get a 60 level goalkeeper, regardless of who wins.
A participation.
But the
prize.
winner, yes, but the winner will get the kickoff pack. So And then for you two personally, I have 2 unsigned players in my agency that I'm going to loan you for the duration of the season at a 0%. 0%
nice.
royalty. So whoever wins, you can have first pick, or you can take, one's a rare, one's an uncommon. I'm assuming the winner will take the rare.
Yeah.
But would be nice.
I might get a few angry managers at me if I start signing rares into the Iron League mid season.
Winsome gets a rare goalie.
Winsome gets a rare goalie.
Yeah. It's actually a rare center mid, and the 69 is a center back. So
in this episode, you'll be listening to the first couple questions, and then a bit like Sturgeonator's quiz, the rest of the quiz we will drop midweek. So you're going to get extra dirt content, and it's going to be the rest of RonJon, aka Fortune Agency's quiz. So you're going to hear the first couple in this episode right here, right now, and then Bosch, midweek, probably Thursday, you're going to hear the rest of the quiz. So you've got double dirt content this week. So have that. Let's go.
All right. Welcome to the When Dirk quiz. I guess we'll call it the Do You Know Your Dirk?
Do you know your Dirk?
If it was anything by last quiz, well, I definitely don't know my Dirk, and realistically, neither of us do know our Dirk. But I'm going to out to revenge Calva this time. So.
All right. So I got 8 questions. We'll go over under. So I'll give you a number. You have to tell me over or under.
Ooh.
Okay. Since Calvinator was actually closer with his 9 to my 8 that I picked, he gets to go first.
Okay.
So Calvinator, this is about our 92 rated superstar, Dirk Clausen. Is his pace over or under 69.5?
I think under. I think he's a bit slower.
Final answer?
Yes.
You are correct. Under. He is a 66. Speed. A little slow foot, but who knows? Progression, he might pick up the pace. All right. Jimbo, shooting.
Oh, dear
over,
Lord.
under 87.5.
I had in my head, if you go 86.5, I'm going to say over. But if you said 87, so 87.5, yeah?
Yes.
Well, is anything to go by his stats so far when it comes to his proficiency of scoring? That would suggest he's an underboy. And I'm going to go with my gut, because if I flip-flop, I'm going to lose, and I end up getting it wrong. So I'm probably going to get it wrong anyway. But under, please.
Under. All right. You are incorrect. It is over. It's 88. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's tough, man. 0.5. That is tough.
Right. Mm-hmm. All right. Calvinator. His passing is a 93.5. Over or under?
93.5. I think over.
It's 2 for you.
Oh, this man's a fraud. I bet he's got a cutout of his card on his back on
the wall.
Him. I bet he's got a cutout of his card.
Projected it.
Yeah, he's got a FIFA card, but he's got the MFL card just sat behind there.
A big old fat head on the wall. All right, Jimbo. Dribbling. We're going to go with 88.5.
Over.
Over is correct. You got that one. It's 89.
Conviction with that. Conviction.
Yep.
Right, the hashtag for this episode. If you remember back in the episode, we spoke about Diamond League. We spoke about Dio's team. And we related them a bit like Voldemort. He who must not be named. Try not to jinx it. So the hashtag, we're not going to say Voldemort. It's going to be hashtag Voldiomort. We're combining the Harry Potter verse and the Metaverse Football League together with a Dio topic or Dio twist, and it's hashtag Voldiomort. So there you go. Make sure you listen to this episode. Chuck hashtag Voldiomort in the general, in Twitter, everywhere we go, everywhere you go. Put it in so we can see it. We'll wrap it up here. If you're not following, subscribe, liking, rating the podcast, go do so. Greatly appreciate it. There's 25 of you on Spotify who have given us 5 stars, which is phenomenal. Let's keep that number going up. And for all of you listening on Apple Podcasts, Amazon, the other platforms, thank you so very much. And obviously, a massive thank you to yourself, RonJon, for coming on or Fortress Agency, as many people will know you as. A huge thank you for coming on the podcast. It's been absolute delight. And the quiz that you heard a couple of questions from, you'll hear the rest of that in a couple of days' time on Thursday, I think it will be, for Extra Dirk. So, RonJon, thank you very much. Have you had a great time? You enjoyed yourself?
Oh, it's been a blast. I can't thank you guys enough for putting this whole thing together. What are we, 43 episodes in?
This will be number 45.
So.
You're the 45th.
45.
45, yeah.
All
45th
right,
episode.
here we
Nice
go.
one.
Yeah, it's I've really enjoyed the fact that I can like enjoy the game, and then on Monday, Tuesday, whenever I get around to it, have some extra MFL stuff that's not necessarily the game, to listen to and just think about, and get to know other people in the community when you do these manager spotlights. So thank you for everything you guys
Thanks.
are doing.
It's been great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. And on that note, we'll see you on Thursday for Extra Dirk, but then we'll see you next Monday, episode 46 of the When Dirk Cast. Thank you for listening.